So Joycelyn is the Principal Occupational Therapist at a public mental health institution, and she has actually contributed quite extensively to many multi-ministerial initiatives, and these include inclusive employment for people with health issues, as well as children or students with learning disabilities. Joycelyn, would you tell us a little bit more about why you do what you do and what inspires you?
Okay, thanks very much, Florence. First of all, right, I actually want to thank everyone for taking time off your precious evening to be here with us. And then I'm also here to learn from everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here as well. So one of the reasons why I chose to be an occupational therapist was I was thinking about what kind of work values I really value in my life and what kind of job I want to do that makes me feel that make a difference to people's life. So I think at that juncture, I was also looking around, and I actually went to the open house and I got to know about physiotherapy, occupational therapy. And then what happened was, what drew my attention was I saw the different range of therapy equipment they use in engaging patients. And then they talk about how they look after from birth all the way to grave. I thought it was really quite meaningful. It's about making a difference to people's lives and also about encouraging them along the way. And I thought that was something that really relates a lot to me because it really speaks to my value, knowing that maybe one day I could do that. So I'm very thankful for the opportunities. Then along the way, I do a bit of volunteering as well. So for example, I volunteer at the organization that's non-profit, a charity, that looks into employment for persons with physical disabilities. And that's really, really meaningful. That I really like for myself. Yeah.
Thank you. We really appreciate that giving mindset. Fun fact, you see the sign there? It says smoochies. So Joycelyn is a smoochie. And her partner, of course, is her husband, Raymond. Raymond, say hello. If you want to know what's a pair of smoochies, yes, round of applause. Yay. Smoochies are SMU couples. So both of them have earned themselves postgraduate degrees. You did your MBA here, class of 2022.
Yes.
So were you like the COVID cohort?
Yes, I was. It was during pandemic, so then it was online classes. Then we switched to hybrid before on-site.
Wow.
Yeah, correct.
Yep. And of course, Raymond, class of 2006. Wow, nice. If there are other smoochies in the room, please identify yourself. We have a Smoochies alumni group that I think you'll be interested in. Okay, so maybe to kick off tonight's session, I'd like some participation from everyone. Everyone who in the room who's young, could you raise your hand? Young. I think Singapore's definition of young means below 35 years of age, but at SMU we are a little bit generous. Okay, below 40 years of age, young. Thank you. If you are not female, please put down your hands. Actually, I'm not qualified because I'm not that young, but young and female. Okay, so you really have to pay attention to what Joycelyn is going to share because studies have shown that young and female, they are the people who are most stressed according to survey. Okay, so Joycelyn, would you share with us what is stress and how do we differentiate between just general tiredness and stress that really needs help?
General tiredness is something that we experience every day. It's usually due to, it could be, say, you are working for the whole day, and at the end of the day when you're home, you feel tired. So that's what I would classify as general tiredness. But after a night of good sleep, or even a weekend of winding down, and you feel better. So the difference between that and stress is that stress, there are different types as well. There's the healthy type of stress. For example, if let's say we are given a work assignment or we have to run a project, that's when we will need to have some kind of stress so that we can be a bit more productive and get the work task done. There is another type whereby we call it as more, I wouldn't say unhealthy, but if it's chronic, it can affect your overall well-being. Especially if it affects your attention or even your sleep and appetite. And then that's when it may be a cause for concern.
So, when should we seek professional help, and what kind of help are we expecting?
Okay, so I think it depends on the person's comfort level. Not everyone is comfortable seeking out a counselor to talk. Some of us are quite happy with the circle of friends we have, and we're quite happy sounding them out. Let's say we have struggles at work. They may be the first person you may talk to. For others, it may be your spouse that you want and you feel more comfortable talking to. Usually, we would recommend only if, let's say, you find that the stress is affecting your sleep. Not if you find that it's difficult to fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up, or it affects your appetite. Say, for example, you find your appetite really reducing. You used to eat 3 meals a day, but maybe it's reduced greatly. I think those are big warning signs that you may need to seek help. Help is also defined by yourself. You can decide if you want to speak to people around, or you can seek professional help like counselors. In the community, there are family service centers with trained counselors who can support anyone that, regardless of the life phase you're at. I know in SMU, there is also a student wellness center for existing students that I know they can seek help with from the counselors.
Thank you. So many of us wear different hats. We have work stress, we have family obligations, and we also need, our personal time. But how do we set boundaries when we have so many roles to play?
This is a very good question. So I had a boss who used to helm the management role of a few hospitals. So he would tell us that it's always about work-life integration. But that's for him because he has a wife who doesn't work and takes care of his 5 children. So from the time they were born, he didn't have to worry about that. So for him, he could do that, the work-life integration. But for some of us, we may not have the luxury sometimes of help or support at home. So if some of us, if we do have young dependents or even dependents of certain physical or mental health needs, it's not so easy to say that, we can definitely rise to the occasion. We may need extra help. It can be from a helper or in-laws, but not everyone may have that luxury of help. So what I would say to each of us is that depending on the life phase you're at, the kind of support you have, the kind of struggles you have, don't be afraid to reach out to anyone you feel comfortable to. Yeah. Because we are also the SMU alumni, you're very, very welcome to drop me a message anytime. Everything should be confidential, so no worries. Yeah, that's something that I'm happy to contribute as an alumni.
But, some of us live with a lot of guilt. So how do we communicate that we have boundaries and we want to restrict access to the people around us?
In situations like this, using statements that start with I need this thing, I want to do that, is usually what we would recommend. However, I have been in situations at work, right, whereby I have been informed by my bosses that you need to be available at all times. So it really depends on the kind of work that you're taking on, the responsibilities, and the life phase you are at in your career. Some of us may find it difficult to then differentiate because of it could be certain leadership responsibilities you're in charge of. But for the rest of us, we may choose to step down for some of these responsibilities and then decide for ourselves what works best for us at that moment in time. So in response to your question, it will really be, you can decide for yourself if when you're ready for a certain role, and there will always be trade-offs in some way, and whether you are prepared to embrace the trade-offs in that sense. So I remember previously when I was helming some of the leadership responsibilities, it was really, really difficult. I find that it not only is the family time, but also the personal time for self-care and all that. So after a while, you have to decide for yourself what works for you and all that. Yeah.
So you mentioned that we should actually ask for help when we think that we need it. How do we access all these social connections around us?
I find that if we look around us, like people we meet at alumni events like this, sometimes we never know who is the one person or an alumni you feel comfortable with, connecting with. So I can say that for the few events, I think we managed to make some sporadic, close friendship, and I'm very thankful for such opportunities. So that's for alumni. Social-wise, right, at home, so it depends. Some of us, we may be close to our neighbors. I think it's nice to have friendships like that as well. And for others, it may be your friends from secondary school, primary school, or even university. So I feel that there's no right or wrong. It depends on the individual you meet throughout your different life phases. And then you decide who are the people you feel comfortable sharing your thoughts and challenges with. Sometimes I find that it's really challenging because especially in the very competitive corporate world, not everyone may be as authentic. So it's not so easy to sieve out relationships and friendships that truly matter, who are authentic, and friends who are really there for you at every phase of your life. So I find that challenging. Personally, for me, my best friends are actually from secondary school. We are best friends because we are the ones who were not study and laugh a lot. So I think that's what I remember of my school days.
Thanks for giving me the opening to talk a little bit about the OAR alumni networks. So you know that OAR stands for Office of Alumni Relations. We are also affectionately known as the OARsome team. So this is the space called Alcove, which is dedicated to all of you. You can come here and, hot desk or meet your friends or faculty. And we do organize many activities, especially in the evenings. So follow us on all our social media channels. You will see that we have all the events that I mentioned earlier on, Leadership Power Up, Amp Up, Balance Up, and so on. So here is a great opportunity for you to meet fellow alumni and broaden your networks and to build that support system. So earlier we did laughter yoga. For me, it was demystifying. I mean, I'm a yoga enthusiast, but very excited that today we don't have to put on our exercise gear, but it was a whole different kind of experience. Is there a difference between real laughter and, the laughter that we kind of faked just now?
I think we will all know deep in our hearts that there is a difference. So one of the key differences between for forced laughter, most of the time it will be the muscles that controls our vocal cords that produce that laughter sound. For a very genuine or authentic laughter, it actually utilizes muscles that's for our postural control around the rib cage. And that's why for some of us, when we really, really have a good laugh with our friend, let's say after nights of drinking, some of us may feel the pain in our stomach. That is one of the differentiation for that. But there are some similarities. There have been studies that show that forced laughter, they sometimes do progress to real laughter because when in that moment in time, that's when all the different chemical neurotransmitters in the brain fire up and actually get you to feel those feelings of feeling good.
So personally, I also experienced just now that when you laugh alone and it's forced, it's different from when it's shared. Like some of us were huddling in groups and it was really more relaxing, more fun. So does shared laughter make a difference in strengthening relationships?
Yeah, I think you rightfully mentioned, based on the small experiential session earlier, that definitely laughing together really makes a difference. And I find that sometimes having that eye contact makes a lot of difference as well. So I know that earlier when the instructors were making a demonstration about yoga laughter, I think Jason was a really, really good example, and there was good eye contact, and then you actually got engaged, and then you was able to be a very good participant, demonstrated well. So I thought it was a really good example of a very authentic moment, a very authentic connection that got you really into the practice of laughter yoga earlier. Yeah.
So now that all of us have picked up some laughter yoga techniques, I think some of us hopefully will go back to our homes and workplaces and adopt this as a new routine. How do these routines actually, help us if we adapt new habits?
So the thing about routines is they tend to be grounding because you know what to expect. So it starts from in the morning, what time you wake up, and what you do exactly in the morning to prep yourself ready for work or ready for the weekend. And all the way till the end of the day, what do you do to prep yourself for winding down and sleeping? Usually, to prepare ourselves, for situations that may affect such routines. Sometimes stressful events, like for example, right, just give an example, could be say preparing for a financial accounting exam. Some of you who took the module in MBA would know the pain. It was very stressful for me. To this day, I still have no idea how I passed. So anyway,
PTSD.
it was a bit of that. But what I was trying to say was, in such situations, it's something helpful to have a calming ritual that you can incorporate into the routine. So for me, what I did was, I went for a workout session just before my paper. So then everything was nice and calm. So I did a HIIT workout. And then when I came to the uni, but the moment I saw my prof, all my cortisol level, the stress hormones went straight up. And of course, when I saw the paper, I was like, oh no, please let me pass. Yeah, so that was all I could think of. I mean, it's something that I thought that happened to me that I just want to share.
Thank you for sharing your personal experience.
This is a very, 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 very good question. Okay, to be honest, right, there are some situations whereby I find it difficult to stop, to close, because we are talking about life and death. So I think those are situations whereby I find it personally very difficult. But what I'm very thankful about is I have a group of colleagues. We are in the same team. But the nice thing is, because we are so close and closely knitted, we sometimes crack jokes to kind of bond. And then even when talking about, say, some of the individuals we work with, right, it helps to bounce off ideas and sometimes taking turns to see certain challenging situations. So that's helped. So personally for me, right, I remember one of the most stressful situations I had at work was also during the pandemic, whereby we had to, like at the last minute at 1 a.m., look at our manpower list and try to deploy people to the foreign workers dormitory. That period to me was very difficult because I just finished my financial accounting lecture, then I have to do this manpower planning. So that time was really, really stressful. And I remember what helped, the only, the really, really good memory I had of that entire experience was, despite all that, my work colleagues and I still found time to catch Crash Landing on You. It was the show, it happened during pandemic. And it was so funny because we were talking about DORSCON red or DORSCON orange or not, right? We have to know the ending, then we all like loud and we all talk about it. So just imagine this, so we had this very serious meeting, but after we cuddled together, we were talking about the movie. So I mean about the drama. So that was quite nice. I remember those moments very fondly. Yeah.
Sounds like a great solution.